Hi everybody, it is April and I am in my craft room, and today we're going to take 2 yards of fabric, some backing, a little bit of batting, and make a quick, I'm going to call it quilanket. It's a blankety quilt. I found the cutest fabric at Walmart. This is what it looks like in the packs. And actually I'm copying. There is a lady on YouTube, Lorena. I'll put a link in the description below. And she oftentimes shares projects that she's working on for her clients. She was working on a project for a client, and it happened to include this fabric. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I am so going to case that. Copy and share everything. So that is what I did. Now you could just use 1 yard of fabric. I ended up using 2 yards of fabric. And this is highly unusual for me, but I actually have a finished product at the beginning of the video. Are you excited? I thought you would be. And this is what it looks like. How cute. I also went the extra mile and I matched the seams of the 2 different pieces of fabric. So I don't know if you can see the seam right there, but it's pretty hard to tell simply because I tried to, to really match it. If you look really close, you can probably see it. Yeah. On the back, I put Minky. Straight up copied her. I mean, just straight up copied. And I also did something that she did. I didn't do it the way she did it, and I should have done it the way she did it because mine is hard to see. But I put my granddaughter's name. I embroidered it on the front before I put everything together. The reason I have one of these finished is because I'm actually making 3 of them. So I have one at this point, which is the very beginning. And then I have another one a little further along. I'm going to put fleece on the back, and I'm going to use my walking foot to attach the fleece to the fabric. I am not going to put on any kind of spray glue because I believe the fleece will hold this fabric in place. And what I'll do is I will start in the middle, and my plan is to make a giant spider web. So let's take this over to the sewing machine. I've already embroidered the name, and let's see what happens. All right, first thing I want to do is get my fabric under here. I'm using a walking foot. I have finished quilting the fabric on the fleece, so let me show you my spider web. And this was done with my walking foot. I also did a little spider. Here is my bat. Oops. And a ghost. So I just played around with it. What I'm going to do, since fleece doesn't fray, I'm going to cut about 1 inch away from the edge of my cotton and then fold that piece over and use it for a binding. So let me show you how I'm going to cut this. So I have my ruler. Here's the 1-inch mark. So I'm going to put the cotton on the 1-inch mark. And do that all the way around the quilt. Once you've cut around the edge, cut a little corner out on the corner so that you can fold one piece over the other and have a little corner that covers up your cotton. I just do it with scissors. So I just cut along this side just to the corner of the cotton fabric. And then along the other side, and you'll be able to fold over and fold over. I'm going to use clips. So let's go to the sewing machine and get this quilt finished. We are going to make a third type. We are going to use minky on the back. We are going to do straight line quilting, and this one is going to be smaller. Now, I am going to show you how I match my fabric on this smaller one. You may be wondering why I have to match my fabric if I'm using a smaller piece when I have a yard of it, and I don't want to talk about it. This is how I go about matching my fabric. So I have a pin back here, and I just work with matching the pictures so that there's the illusion that there is no seam there. So I've started pinning these, and now I have to keep going. Then I fold back. You want it right sides together. So if I put this here, then this cat and the hat match my lamppost matches. And I think I can get the rest of them to match as well. So I'm going to go underneath and put my pin right here. And any excess fabric will be cut away. So what I will do is I will sew right where these pins are, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. And it is not sheer perfection, but the seam is right through here. So it's pretty well matched. So it doesn't just scream, here's a seam. This quillanket is ready to go on the minky. And what I want to do is I want to attach my cotton to my minky. And I'm going to use a spray base. There went my rotary cutter. So that I can straight line quilt this before I wrap the edge of the minky around to make it the binding. I think I want 3 inches just to be safe. So there we have our minky cut. Here is my 505 spray. I'm going to move some more stuff. My table overfloweth. Okay. So I'm going to fold this back and just spray fold this up. back to where it was. And this will just hold the fabric in place because Minky is very slick. What I've done is I've cut 3 inches around the edge of this cotton fabric, all the way around the quillanket. I think I still need to trim here. But the way that I'm going to enclose or bind this blanket, quillanket, is I am going to use this Minky as my binding. So in order to do the corners, I am placing my ruler with a 45-degree angle line across the top and down the side. This gives me a 45-degree angle cut. So let me take my rotary blade. And if I could cut straight, let me do that again. Okay, that is that. So now what I have is this quillanket ready to be straight lined quilted. So let's take this to the machine, get this quilted, and finish our binding so we can call it done. So I have this handy dandy thing that came with another sewing machine, and it's used for straight line quilting. So I stick it in my machine so it sticks right out here, and I move this along this seam. Hopefully this seam is straight. We are in the home stretch now. The last thing that we need to do is we need to fold over our Minky from the back, bring it to the front, get our corners placed, and then sew. And I'm going to use a zigzag stitch. So let me turn the camera down and show you how I do the corners. Let's get this thing done. So this side is folded. This side is folded. Let me straighten this out. So this will hold my corner in place, and then I'm going to put a pin to hold the bottom part of the corner in place. And what I will do is here on this seam, I will sew a zigzag stitch so that it holds this together. And then I will do the same zigzag stitch all around. And my blanket will be complete. Only it's not a blanket, it's a quilanket. Quilanket or clanket. That's a decision that needs to be made. Blanket, quilanket, or clanket. It's a tough one. 1, 2, 3. 3 ways you can take some yardage and a kind of backing, add some batting if you want, and you can come up with a quilanket or quanket. I like quilanket. Quilanket, it's a quilt because you've done some quilting, but it's a blanket because you haven't pieced the front part. A quilanket. I am sure that you've got some yardage and some fleece or some minky lying around your house that you can take and practice your straight line quilting, or even your fun quilting like a spider web. Now I am not Van Gogh, or maybe I am a little Van Gogh with my spider and my bat and my ghost. They're not quite perfect, but perfect, it's overrated. So grab some fabric and some backing and get started. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do something, and don't be afraid to make a mistake. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. This is a new resident in our household. Her name is Maxine, so I just wanted to introduce you. She is very shy, so I don't know how often you will see her, but you might hear her every once in a while. And then I will be done with this quilt once I sew that fold over portion on the cotton. That sounded horrible. And then you've got your binding. Why couldn't I think of the word binding? And we use our blah, 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 blah.